Hello everyone, Shindo Bean here, playing some more Warhammer Combat Cards Campaign Mode. In this one I'm going to be playing two matches. This is Tyranids versus the Leagues of Votann. We have 200 deck points and Warp Storm, which slowly increases the psychic attack of all your deployed cards by 5. You do need a Psyker on the field in order to benefit from this. And also the keyword for the mission rewards, which is for the Tervagon, is also Psyker. So the more Psykers you have, the quicker you will unlock those rewards. Now, there are a couple of builds you could go with. For me, I think one of the stronger ones, since I do have the Swarm Lord at a very high level, is just a deck running some of the strongest Psykers and then having two healers, the Biophagus and the Ripper Swarm. I think this one would be quite strong. However, you can't include as many keyword cards. So if you're just going for keyword points, I think running Gosar, who is one of the cheaper warlords that can still combo with Psykers, is a good option. So this is what I've been running up till now. Unfortunately, I'm just 1 point away from including the Maleceptor, which is a much more powerful Psyker. It can deal quite a bit more damage than any of the others, but since I can't quite include that in this build, I'm instead running the Hive Tyrant. But yeah, I'm going to play one match with this deck, and then I'm going to switch it up and play with just a really wacky build that I thought up, because I don't think this Gosar deck is really going to cut it on day 2. I think the Swarmlord deck will perform better, but for those of you who don't have the Swarmlord at high level, the Tervagon, of course, is quite strong. So I just had a thought. What if I combined Psykers with a couple ranged units and the Tervagon? Something that I normally never do, but I think with the Warp Storm it might actually work. But anyway, first of all, let's go ahead and try out this Gosar deck. And we are up against Etok Warspek, who is the warlord who can shut off your traits. But I've noticed a very important bug here. At least I'm pretty sure it's a bug, because it should not work like this. But things with Psychic Link apparently are unaffected by the special rule. I've tested it several times, and we'll see it here in action, I think. But they do have the initiative, so the AI will be taking the first turn. I'm going to just deploy some guys with Psychic Link, and I'll show you how big their stats are, because they can get really strong when you've got them at a high level. So yeah, the Neuro Tyrant over here is going to gain stats from Psychic Link and Inspiring Presence. So it's got a total of 129 Psychic attack, and it just got its Psychic Link trait shut off. But it's still... yeah, I mean, it still is dealing the same amount of psychic damage. So even though it technically has lost the Psychic Link trait, the special rule did nothing. So yeah, I guess running things with Psychic Link is actually really good. All the other traits do get shut down. It's just Psychic Link, for whatever reason, is like the exception. So it does look like they have enough attack power that they're going to actually be able to punch through some of my units here. Maybe, eventually, but yeah, right now we're just blasting away, and of course getting +5 to the Psychic at the beginning of each turn. It makes for a lot of damage on these guys. Of course, with Gosar we're also getting our melee attack buffed, but most of the Leagues of Votann units are ranged heavy, so yeah, you're probably not going to make too much use of the melee attack, unless Gosar himself gets deployed, which I have not come close to doing yet. Now, Leagues of Votann do have a couple Psykers, pretty tough ones, like this legendary Grimnir, which is a bit of a pain to deal with. I'm just gonna throw, I think, the Hive Tyrant down here. And, well, honestly, I probably should have put the Neurothrope across from that, because definitely not going to be punching through the shields here, but pretty good damage output. Of course, with Warp Storm, you do want to keep your Psykers alive as long as possible, which is why some of these Psykers are maybe not the best option. Like, I think the Maleceptor is very tanky, especially if you have it at level 9, it gets a shield. And then the Neuro Tyrant is also quite strong as well, with Fear. Of course, Fear can get shut down, though, by the special rule of this Warlord, so you do have to be kind of careful about that. So yeah, pretty easy match with my high-level cards here, but yeah, most important thing to note is Psychic Link does not get affected by that special rule there. So let's go ahead and, just to show you I mean, it doesn't really make sense for me to run this on day one, but just to show you how this deck would work. It's actually the first time I've ever used something like this, so only 3 keyword cards, but I think it should be pretty good with the infinite Termagants. Alright, so this time we're against the other Warlord. This is Uthar the Destined. So every time we kill one of their units, the card gets a judgment token, and it will potentially take a lot more damage. The more judgment tokens it has, we are going to drop the Termagant here on the first turn, and then I think, yeah, we're going to start off with the Psykers. So just Psykers and Termagants, they have no synergy normally. But I think this should actually work out pretty well, because the Warp Storm is going to buff the Psykers, so they'll just slowly get stronger over time. Especially good with the Maleceptor, because it has Psychic Blast, so that will get stronger. The Termagants, of course, can keep the enemy at bay, but we do have the healers in this deck, so we can actually heal our Psykers so that they have a lot more staying power than the ones in the previous deck. Not quite able to kill anything here yet, but the Termagant will go down on the next turn. This does have a much slower playstyle, though, because we're not running as many Psykers. It means we're only going to be attacking with 2 cards at a time. So that is the one thing. The one reason I probably will not be using this deck, at least for a while. And also the Maleceptor just got 2 Judgment tokens, so that's not good either. That Silent Blast really does have a much higher chance of killing off units. So yeah, this thing is going to be taking a minimum of 138 damage. That's going to be pretty painful. Especially if they have Barrage, but luckily the Barrage is it's just the primary attack that's going to be hitting that. Still quite a bit of damage there. I think there is a maximum number of Judgment tokens you can get, though. Alright, we're going to continue going Psychic here, and nice thing about the Healer is that he does debuff ranged, so that can actually help to keep your guys alive even longer. Oh no, well, guess what? I guess now that they move the Barrage over, I think that Maleceptor is very dead. So yeah, that was not really ideal. I guess maybe that's the one reason that this deck might not actually work so well as I thought, because yeah, if the Maleceptor is just getting a bunch of Judgment tokens, then even if you're healing it, it's really not going to survive that long. Now, the Neurothrope, or the Neurotyrant rather, is the one that's going to start getting Judgment tokens because it's the only one attacking. Notice, though, that we are getting a big buff to the ranged attack, so that's what the idea behind this deck is basically just go Psychic, and you're buffing, you're getting a buffed up ranged attack, and eventually you can just drop your ranged units and they'll do like 1,000,000 damage. Which I think we can actually do at this point, because we do have a big game hunter. Uthar is 42 points. He's got a shield, but he has so little health at the lower levels that the shield doesn't really block that much damage. So at this point, I think we can just switch to ranged. 150 plus the big game hunter should be enough to take him down, I think. And yeah, just an easy kill there. So that's how this deck would function. I guess, yeah, once your Psykers are dead, you drop the ranged units. You blast them with that charged up ranged attack, and then you can, I guess, switch back to, once the Tervagon itself deploys, you can switch back to Psychic or something. I don't really know how this deck will compare to just like a pure Psyker build with the Swarm Lord. Obviously, I mean, that one, if you have your cards at a high enough level, could be quite strong. But we'll see how it goes on day 2. Anyway, those are just some ideas for what you can do with this campaign. Let me know which Warlord you are going with. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.